Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and in this video I just wanted to do a short little tip video for you guys on the Wahoo Kickr. Now, I have been using the Wahoo Kickr here for about the last month or so, and I'm really enjoying the trainer. I love the direct drive system. It's working really good for me, and I just kind of wanted to give you guys a quick tip, or just I guess more or less point something out, for anybody who's interested about the Wahoo Kickr, or if you're already using it. I just wanted to point out something that I have been noticing, something that I've seen on a couple of different forums, and I certainly notice it in my own training, and that's a difference between high inertia riding versus low inertia riding, and how I feel anyways you should utilize those two different aspects in your training. Now, what I mean by that is, now anybody who's not familiar, the Wahoo Kickr is a direct drive trainer, bike trainer, indoor bike trainer. It's a smart trainer. Basically, your frame attaches right to the trainer, taking your back wheel off, and you just attach your bike to the trainer and you ride with a direct drive system. And for anybody who's not familiar, the Wahoo Kickr is known as one of the best trainers as far as road feel, and the way that it accomplishes that is by having a very heavy flywheel, which gives you a lot of inertia. So therefore you have the ability to really build up a lot of inertia, which keeps that flywheel ticking over and helps simulate that outdoor feel, which it does a great job. The Wahoo Kickr is by far the most realistic trainer I've been on as far as replicating that road feel, and I love the trainer. And what I mean by high inertia training versus low inertia training is if you're in your easier gearing, say small chainring up front and towards the upper end of the cog on the back, so you're into your easier gears, which you would be using. Say you're climbing hills, okay? At least that's what I do when I'm climbing hills, is I go to my easier gears. And when you do that, okay, when you're in your smaller gears, you're not building up as much inertia on your Wahoo Kickr. So the flywheel is not turning over as rapidly as it would be if you were in a much bigger gear, okay? And when you're in erg mode, which is the mode where you just set in a watt, and no matter what gear you're in, you're always going to be pushing out that power. So say, for example, I'm pushing out 200 watts, and I'm in the small ring up front and towards the upper end of the cog in the back. I'm still doing 200 watts, okay? But I'm going to be doing that in a low inertia standpoint for the Kickr. So the flywheel won't be turning over as quickly, and it'll, in my opinion, it feels more like you're riding on a hill, okay? Because when you're riding on a hill, typically your wheels are your actual wheels are turning over a lot slower than it would be if you were doing 30 miles an hour on a flat. So your wheels aren't spinning as many revolutions per minute as it would be in a much bigger gear. It's kind of the same thing here with the Wahoo Kickr. So you're in a low inertia mode. And in my opinion, that feels very much like you're climbing a hill. Conversely, when you're in a bigger gear, big ring up front and towards either the middle or lower end of your cog in the back, now you're building up a lot of inertia. You're really turning that flywheel over a lot, very rapidly, and it's built up a lot of inertia on the Kickr. And in my opinion, that feels very much like you're on a real fast, flat section giving a hard effort. So again, in that same 200 watt scenario, I'm still throwing out 200 watts, but now I'm doing it from a high inertia standpoint, okay? More than likely slower cadence, and you just have a lot more inertia built up into the flywheel, and in my opinion, it feels much like you were on, a flat traveling at, 20, 25 miles an hour. So the way I use this in my training is, say I'm on a particular interval or a particular training day and I want to simulate hill climbs. I am going to use the low inertia approach. I'm going to use my small gearing up front, small gearing up back in the back, and I'm going to have the low inertia approach, which basically means the Wahoo Kickr flywheel isn't turning over nowhere near as quickly. It's not making as much noise, which I don't care about the noise, but I care more about the flywheel action. So it's a much slower flywheel, and I like to train that way if I want to train for hills, because when I'm actually out on the road on a hill, I'm going to have low inertia, okay? So I feel that, it does a better job of replicating hill climb efforts, if you're actually in a low inertia mode. And conversely, if I'm time trial training, if I'm doing a particular interval or a particular day, and I want to do some time trial training or some training, for some efforts that's going to be, very similar to those, 25 mile an hour, flat sections where you got to hang in a pack or maybe go off the front, whatever. I'm gonna do the high inertia training. I'm gonna use my big ring up front, down towards the middle, bottom end of the sprocket in the back, and I'm gonna be, really ramping up that high inertia, and I'm gonna be simulating that to do, training to simulate doing that on the road. So I just don't know how many people have noticed this with the Kickr. I've heard it being talked about in a couple of different forums, a couple different podcasts, and I certainly have noticed it in my own training. I just figured I would make this short video for you guys. Anybody who's using the Wahoo Kickr, or if you're thinking about getting the Wahoo Kickr, first of all, I highly recommend it. It's a great trainer. But secondly, I feel that you can actually use these two different forms of riding on the Kickr to more specifically train, certain aspects of your riding. So I guess to make a long story short here, basically what I'm saying is, if I was going to train for hill climbing events or for, or to build that type of fitness, I would use the low inertia approach, small gearing, because you're still doing the wattage. Okay, you're still putting out the 200 watts. You're just doing it with a lower inertia approach, which is going to happen on the hills. And like I said, conversely, if I was going to be training for a time trial or for, flat sections of road or flat races, I'm going to use the high inertia approach, still kick that 200 watts out, but now doing it with more inertia. And I just think that helps, better helps you simulate the specific riding conditions you're going to encounter out on the road. And now I'm going to actually just, I'm going to take a couple of moments here and just kind of show you what I'm talking about on the Kickr. First, I'm going to start out small ring, small gearing on the back, and I'm going to show you what the Wahoo Kickr looks like and sounds like in that low inertia approach, and then I'll switch over to the big ring, smaller, towards the end, towards the bottom half of the sprocket in the back, and I'll show you what it looks like and sounds like when you're using the high inertia approach. And I just wanted to make this short video for you guys, and let's get to the action on the Kickr here. Okay, guys, so there you have it. That just kind of shows you really what I'm talking about here. Low inertia, small gear spinning versus the, bigger gear, much higher inertia spinning. Just wanted to make this short video for you guys, kind of pointing out that there really is a couple of different techniques you can use on the kicker. That's how I train. For simulating hills, I'll use low inertia. For simulating high pace flats, I'll do high inertia spinning. And as always, guys, I appreciate you. I appreciate your support here on the channel. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. It lets me know that you guys enjoy these videos, and I'll keep making more of these kind of videos for you guys. And as always, I'll see you right here in the next video.